Live from the Dr. Jerry Henderson Radio Complex, it's time for Card Guys. And now, here's your host, Anthony Schulte.
Good morning. Thank you, Michael, for the intro as always, and welcome to Card Guys Detroit Sports Talk, Season 3, Episode 9. Coming up today, we are joined by Detroit Pistons beat writer Omari Sankofa to talk Pistons. We also discuss the Tigers making it to the ALDS, and we review NFL Week 5 and then make our Week 6 NFL picks. I'm Anthony Schulte. Joining me as always, my man, Ryan Donnelly.
Hope you guys had a great wellness break. Omari, welcome to the show.
And right next to me, Mr. Michael Rosenkranz.
Very chilly morning on a Wednesday, but it was a good fall break, pretty quick, but I'm excited to get back into it. Omari, welcome.
And joining us on the beat on with the Detroit Free Press for the Detroit Pistons. He covers the Pistons, covered the Grizzlies for a little bit with the Athletic as well. Mr. Omari Sankofa II, everybody. Welcome, Omari. Can you hear us?
I can hear you just fine, and thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. So we always start off each show with our 3 stars. Omari, we're going to start with you today. Who are your 3 stars from the sports world the past couple nights?
Well, you got to go Kerry Carpenter with the home run, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, I would also go Scuba, just for the game he pitched. So that's 2. And I kind of want to go 3 for 3, just all Tigers with the run that they've had. Like, I don't know who else in the sports world could even measure up to what they're doing right now in the postseason. But I feel like just being a Pistons beat writer, I got to give one to a Piston, even though, they're in preseason. But I'm going to go ahead and slide Jaden Ivey in there. So let's go Kerry Carpenter, Scooball, and then Jaden Ivey.
Some great picks right there. I'll go over my 3 stars real quick. Number 3, J.B. Bickerstaff. I love what I'm seeing from him so far in the preseason. He's up. He's coaching the team throughout the game. He's what I've seen play-wise, set-wise, and just culture-wise. Everything seems different. It seems like a different vibe with this team. And so he's my third star. My second star, I'm going to go with the entire Tigers pitching staff here because we shut out the Guardians. We shut them out 3-0. And then, of course, Kerry Carpenter hit that home run off Class A. But incredible stuff from Scooble and incredible stuff, I think, Will Vest and then Bo Brisky, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So those 2 came in, shut down that offense that put a touchdown on us in Game 1 of the ALDS. And then my first star is Jaden Ivey. He had, I think it was like 22 points on 6 of 8 shooting and 3 of 3 from 3, if I'm remembering that off the dome correctly. Beautiful first game. Excuse me. Him with Fred Vinson. He was talking about how Fred Vinson, has been helping him. His jumper feels a lot smoother. It looks a lot smoother. It really does. Jaden Ivey is my first star. Ryan, what do you got for us?
All right. So my third star is Marco Casper, who has been very impressive for the Red Wings during the preseason. He had 2 goals against the Ottawa Senators on Thursday. He looked very well. I hope he makes I don't know if he made the regular season roster or not. Red Wings opening night is tomorrow, 8 o'clock. They moved it because of the Tigers' Game 4 ALDS. My second star, a guy who's been killing it, a non-Tiger that's been killing it in the postseason, Fernando Tatis Jr., who in the 2024 postseason has 18 at-bats, 10 hits, 8 runs, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, an average of .556 and an OPS of 1.969. Dude has been killing it in the postseason, especially last night with that go-ahead 3-run home run to give the Padres the lead and eventually the win. And my first star, Terry Scooble. What more can you say? Shutting off one of the best offenses in baseball. Man, in 7 innings, it's been impressive. This Tigers defense has been great around Scooble. This Tigers team looks great around Scooble, and those are my 3 stars.
Michael, 3 stars.
Yeah, so my third star is going to start out with Jalen Duren. I always like to see Jalen Duren get the season. He's a young big for this team, and he had a decent game against the Bucks. He went 8 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and, he's just getting his feet wet down low again, but I'm really excited to see what Duren's going to do down low again. My second star is going to go to Teoscar Hernandez. The Dodgers did lose to the Padres 6-5. Padres are now up 2-1 in the series, but That's going to go to Teoscar Hernandez, who went 1 for 3 with a grand slam to keep it a very close game down the stretch, but the Dodgers could not ultimately pull out the win, and their back's against the wall right now, so they got a little bit of catching up to do if they want to stay alive. My first star is going to go to A.J. Hinch and this whole pitching chaos mantra that you start to see him develop. And hey, who knows? You might see a little bit more pitching chaos down the line should the Tigers go to a Game 4, which they will, or possibly a Game 5.
Indeed. So those are our 3 stars for this week. Omari, we're going to get into some questions with you here. So I'll start us off with the questions for Omari. Coming into this season, last season was historically bad, I guess you could say. Tied the longest losing streak in North American professional sports, I'm pretty sure, 28, when we finally got that win against the Raptors. Last season wasn't ideal, you could say, especially for a young team that's rebuilding. You just got Monty Williams last year on that giant deal. And then you kind of shift everything. You get rid of Troy Weaver, get rid of Monty Williams, bring in Trajan Langdon, bring in J.B. Bickerstaff, get some new veterans on this team, Tobias, THJ, Malik Beasley. So I'm just wondering, Omari, what have you noticed in the preseason and kind of your expectations for this upcoming season?
Well, you touched on it a bit, but I would say, first off, it's just the energy and organization that they've had. You mentioned, of course, last season they went 14 games, 28-game losing streak, worst season in franchise history. We don't need to go through all of that again, but when you come out of a season like last season, you pretty much have to change everything up, right? So, you bring in Trajan Langdon as president, you bring in J.B. Bickerstaff, and, J.B.'s coming with energy. He's a guy that has had rebuilding squads in the past, whether, Cleveland when he took them over from John Beeline a few years ago, or, with the Memphis Grizzlies while I was down there. And that energy, I think, has rubbed off on the players. You saw how well they played on Sunday. Just the energy and organization they had on defense. Knocking down shots, making timely cuts, passes on offense. They didn't quite have that last night against Phoenix, and it's preseason, so you never really know how it's going to look once the regular season starts. But I would say for sure, just I think the vibes are a little bit lighter. They've separated themselves from, last season to the extent that you realistically can. And the vibe's just a little bit lighter. You see guys get a little bit older, a little bit more confident in themselves and what they can do. And I think we're seeing some of that through the first 2 preseason games.
Do you think, what do you think win-wise this team could get to? What do you think is kind of the ceiling for wins for this team, do you think?
It's tough because, I get asked that, and my first instinct is to not give any number because if they fall short of it, I don't want to be, I don't want people saying, well, Omari said they could do this and that, because Omari did say they would win more than 14 last year, and they did not. But realistically, I think, 20-game improvements in the NBA are rare. They do happen, but they're pretty rare. So this is a team that won 14 games last year, and I don't think they were 14 wins bad, but that was the number they ended up with. So, I think 25-30 this season is a pretty realistic outcome. I don't know if 30 is their ceiling per se, because if Cade makes that next leap and you've got shooting around him and this and that, then you never know what could happen, especially in the Eastern Conference that doesn't really go deeper than 7 teams as far as the playoffs. But I would probably just put them in that 25-30 range, and then around All-Star break, I guess we'll see where they are and if they continue to keep competing down the stretch or if they start preparing for the draft.
Hey, Omari, Ryan here. Obviously, as we all know, Pistons are in the beginning of the offseason, fired former general manager Troy Weaver and fired former head coach Monty Williams to make basically a fresh start for these younger guys. And obviously, as you mentioned, bring in Trajan Langdon from New Orleans to be the new president of basketball operations. Excuse me. And bring in former Cavs head coach J.B. Bickerstaff to be the new head coach, along bringing in Pelican shooting coach Fred Vinson and also bringing in former Kings, Lakers, and Warriors head coach Luke Walton to be an assistant. Also signing guys like Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr. via trade, and all these other vets, along bringing in Ron Holland and Bobby Klintman. My question to you is, tell us how that culture's changed from Monty and Troy with little to no veteran leadership now to JB and Trajan and all these veterans that are coming to Detroit and wanting to be here to help out these younger guys.
No doubt. I think part of it is just the point that Trajan is taking the team over at, right, where you already have a Cade Cunningham, you already have a Jaden Ivey, and a Jalen Duren, which Troy didn't really have when he came in 4 years ago. He had to come in and kind of curate his own luck through the draft and, taking swings on certain free agents, whether it's Jeremy Grant or whatnot. But, I think the reality is that no matter what the intention was last season, it just didn't click. And you look at, I think Trajan's brought in, he's a first-time GM, but, I think he has an air of competence around him. We talk to people around the league, and he's been around for a while. I mean, he's been an assistant GM. He's, been around the block, so he's not completely new to this. But you talk to people around the league, and they, just talk about how bright he is, his understanding of the game, this and that. And you mentioned the vets, but you have Tobias, you have Malik Beasley, you have Tim Hardaway, and these are guys who have been knocking down threes, just about their entire careers, right, which I think helps. So it's I think just separating yourself from what came before. I think when you have a season like last year, you have to just distance yourself from it to the extent that you can, because you just don't want that stench of losing and that stench of, whatever else was plaguing the team last season mentally to carry over into this season. So Trajan's come in, he's brought a different energy, a different voice. We talked about JB and the energy he's brought in, and I think all you can really do in a situation like this is bring in new energy, new life, and then also once you actually do take the court, you have to put all that into practice, right? I think we saw Sunday how well that they played. They took care of the ball, they shot the ball really well, they really turned it up defensively about midway through the first quarter. That's a gear that we didn't see them have a lot last season, and to me, that just kind of speaks to what you have to do after a season like that. You have to come out and, give 120 and set a completely different vibe from day one.
Hey, Omari, Michael Rosenkranz here. Taking a look yesterday just at the Pistons game at the Breslin Center. It's kind of a full circle moment for you. You went to Michigan State yourself in 2016, I believe, is when you graduated. Just tell me about sort of that full circle moment, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why so many of us love sports and covering sports is you get some of those full circle moments. And doing what you do covering the Pistons, there's a lot of work that goes into that. But how did it feel for you to get that full circle moment by covering the team that you cover at your alma mater?
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. I was at Michigan State from 2012 to 16, and I had a very typical college experience for a young journalist where, I joined my college paper day one and worked my way through, went through a lot of the sports, whether it was volleyball, field hockey. I did cover women's basketball, and then men's basketball. I covered the men's basketball team in 2015, when they made that surprise run to the Final Four. So the women's basketball team, I think, was a year before that. And they had Ariel Powers and Tori Jankowska and, just a really talented team. So, I'm at Breslin Center for, 2 years, every week during basketball season. And, you just cover so many games. So to sit back in that exact same seat, 8 years later, and, it's a different environment, different teams, but, you're still sitting in that same seat. It's always special to get back up on campus. But, it was definitely pretty cool. I think once you leave college, you don't necessarily expect to be credentialed and come back and cover too many games there. And actually hadn't been at Breslin Center since I graduated, which is crazy because I've been to like 3 or 4 football games in that span, and I just had not been to Breslin for whatever reason. So, it was a lot of fun. It's always great being back on campus. And, I think Breslin has one of the best atmospheres in any arena in the country. And we got some of that last night, too. So, yeah, it was just fun. And I think along with that, you're just grateful and thankful for the opportunities you've had and to be able to have a full circle moment like that.
Yeah, me and Ryan and a friend of the show, Isaac Haven, we were all at the game last night, sitting up in the nosebleeds, but it was still a great view. I kind of got vibes of the Palace going back there. It's an arena built for basketball. I got Palace vibes. I don't know about you, Ryan, but I got Palace vibes a little bit with the close quarters, I guess you could say.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like compared to like Breslin and Palace, we're both made for basketball, so I get it. But like Breslin felt a lot steeper. I never really sat 200 level when I was at the Palace. I was very fortunate to sit 100 level almost every game. There was maybe one or two games I remember at the Palace sitting 200 level, and those seats were not bad at all. So I get your point.
And the crowd there was great last night. Even though there was a lot of Suns fans, thank you, Matt Ishbia. There are a lot of Suns fans, a lot of Suns purple in the crowd, but still a good show out for a preseason game at Breslin Center. That place was packed; it was almost sold out,
almost full house. It was hard to get a ticket. Like
it was
almost impossible to get a ticket. Thank goodness we got our tickets a few weeks ago when they were about a pretty cheap,
pretty decent,
decent deal, and got good deal on parking. It was almost full house in the 200 level, and the Sun Zone, I guess, showed out last night, and I mean it was still a great atmosphere. Pistons fans, Suns fans, whatever. We still had that one love, and that was basketball, and it was shown in a basketball building, and I was very satisfied and happy with last night.
And we only lost by single digits, so I will take it. All right, Omari. One more question for you. You're at practice, training camp practice almost every single day with the team. What's something you're kind of noticing, different from last year at practice that you could kind of be like, all right, this team's really improving here at practice and through training camp as well?
I think it's tough to tell this early just because you never really know how things will translate once, the regular season turns on and the stakes become a little bit different. But I'll say the main thing I would just say is that, this team isn't quite a young team, in the same capacity that it was in the past, right? Cade is in year 4 and, he signed his rookie extension over the summer, which is going to keep him here through the next 5 to 6 years. And, that kicks in next year, but again, like year 4, you're starting to get out of young player territory and more into, you've been around the block and know what to expect. With that, Ivy, Duren, those guys are year 3. And it's just funny, like when I first started covering the Pistons in, 2020, all those guys were like 19, 20 years old. And, they're older, they're more experienced, and after last season, I think they understand that things could go south pretty quickly, and that the NBA is a tough league, right? Like everybody can play, and you really just can't have so many nights where you don't have it. I look at their roster, and Ron Holland, who turned 19 over the summer, he's the youngest player on the team by 2 years. Duren is still the second youngest, but Duren turns 21, I believe, this fall. So.
He's not even 21
group,
yet.
A slightly more experienced group. Certainly a group that went through the ringer last season and does not want to go through that again. And I think the vibe is just more so not necessarily a super young team. They're young guys, but they're not in year 1 and 2 anymore. They're in year 3, 4, 5, and they want to turn the page on this thing and set a new standard compared to what they've had before.
And I think also something that could contribute to that is they're seeing all the other teams win. I know Cade said in training camp during media day, he said, he was at the Tigers game and he felt that energy from all the fans and he wants to feel it with the Pistons. And I think seeing the Lions turn that corner and become a winning team, the Tigers are going on this magical run in the playoffs. The Red Wings were knocking on the playoffs door, but technicality got in our way. This year, big expectations for the Red Wings. And the Red Wings are always such a beloved and loud fan base. And they're seeing that, and they want that. They want that success. They don't want to be the quote-unquote laughing stock of the city sports anymore. And I think that might also, light a fire under them as well.
No doubt. And I think that's part of it, too, is the longer you stay in the city, the more you realize that, Detroit fans really are a dedicated group. Like I've covered a lot of sports. I've been in different cities. I've been around the country, and the amount of support the Pistons got last season as a 14-win team is not normal. There are teams that, win 40 games that, to me don't get the attendance and, just the raw metrics that the Pistons got last season. So, the longer you're here, the more you realize all of that, and guys have talked about just, like they go to Tigers games, just seeing what the Tigers have done, seeing what the Lions have done. You share a building with a Red Wings team that's, clearly on the up and up. And, I would imagine that those things are, pretty strong motivators for you because, like you said, you don't want to be, the ugly duckling, right? Like you have 4 teams in the city and 3 of them are doing pretty well, and you want to make that 4. So that's also a motivator for these guys, too.
Going back through your Twitter, this is a non-basketball related question, but as a music lover myself, I know how much you love music, and I just want to ask you, what's on your fall rotation right now?
Good question.
I'm just curious. I love music so much.
So whenever fall comes, I get into like more of a fall music, like especially around this time of year, like when you have Halloween coming up, and I'm a huge Future fan. Like I love Future. Like he's probably in like my top 3 or 4 most listened to rappers over the last, I don't know, since college maybe. And, I think he's had a good year. He's had 3 tapes come out this year that have all been in my rotation, so that's been going a lot. But beyond that, I'm also like I was raised listening to like Motown, Stevie Wonder, and whatnot. And, actually going to go see Stevie Wonder for the first time the night before the season opener at the LCA on October 22nd. And super excited for that. So I've been going through a lot of the old Stevie classics as well, and that's been great. So very, very different ends of the spectrum with Future and Stevie Wonder, but that's been my rotation this last week.
Yeah, Stevie's a wonderful choice. I forgot that he's coming to LCA before Pistons opening night. Unfortunately, I won't be there. I wish I was, but man, you're very lucky, man. I wish I could be there. But
nice play on words too. Stevie's a wonderful choice. Stevie Wonder.
Oh,
there you go.
There you go.
Man, hey, there you go. There you go.
I was born to be a rapper.
I know you did that on purpose, too. People always say no pun intended, but, like, I intend my puns. Like, I own them. So
yeah, I'd intend that if I were you, Ryan.
What's that?
I would intend that if I were you. Intend the pun.
Oh.
Instead of saying no pun intended.
Pun.
Oh,
yeah.
pun intended.
Own it.
Oops.
One more thing for you, Omari. Just taking a look at one of your articles you actually put out earlier this morning at 6:09 a.m. to be exact for you. You talked about how Pistons owner Tom Gores is, quote, not going to put any limits on this team, and you saw him address the media at halftime. What in your mind has to go, I guess not has to go right for this team, but what do you think is sort of lighting that fire for Tom Gores to address the media this early when, to be honest, it's been 13 years of, I guess we could say, rather questionable leadership from him, and now how do you feel like he's taking that step to finally address the media going forward?
Yeah, well, I got to give Tom credit because, when I was in, I've covered teams or owners don't really make themselves available, and, Tom, he's always been pretty accessible. This is certainly the earliest he's talked into the season, with it being a preseason game. Obviously, a unique scenario, with it being Bresnan Center, and he and Matt Ishbia are, Spartan alumni. So, he's in town a lot earlier, but typically he is always at the very first game of the season. And he always makes himself available, at halftime at that first game. So it just happened a little bit earlier this season, but I would say that, it's just, you got to turn the page, right? Like he's owned this team for a while now, and they haven't had the success that, they set a standard for, back in, the 80s and 90s with the Bad Boys, and then obviously the Going to Work era, which is the era that, converted a lot of us Detroiters and Michiganders into basketball fans in the early and mid 2000s. So, I think Tom understands, especially after last season, that this thing has to be turned around. And you don't want to set expectations for a team like this where, quite frankly, you just don't know how they're going to do, especially after last season. But, but there's some motivation in that, I'm sure, to understand that this team has a history that you haven't been able to tap into, and you're trying to get it back to that. So he didn't set limits on the team, but he did, talk about just how happy he is with the job JD's done, and obviously guys in the roster, Cade, growing into leadership and whatnot. So there's some optimism, but I think with that, it's certainly wait and see, just given that last season went off pretty quickly.
And finally, Omari, Pistons preseason ends on the 16th, next Wednesday, actually. The season opener is going to be Wednesday, October 23rd against the Pacers. Who are you most excited for, and who are you hoping to see break out this year?
Yeah, I would say I think the one guy that's been really intriguing since he was drafted, and I mean all these guys are intriguing, but you kind of know Cade is number one pick. He's going to be pretty good. J.I., fifth overall pick, could have went top 4. He's going to be pretty good. But Duran, is a guy that the last regime prioritized. You don't always see teams prioritize centers, especially in the lottery, but it's something about Duran that they really liked, and now you have the new regime, trying to expand his game and, tap into him a little bit more. So you see some of the playmaking. You already know what he is as like a lob threat and rebounder. But, they have some plans for him this season, and it's year 3. And, I'm just very curious to see what year 3 Jalen Duran looks like, especially after last season where, he proved himself as one of the league's best lob threats and rebounders.
All right, and Omari, I just kind of want to pick your brain here on Asar Thompson. Do you have any update on, when he could be back, what's kind of going on? Can you give us a little bit of an update on Asar? Because he's a pretty vital piece to this team, and we know he's dealing with that blood clot issue.
Yeah, no, I mean, he absolutely is a pretty vital part of this team. And after Duran, he would actually probably be the next guy, I'm most curious to see just because his game is so unique, and he was also a guy that was, prioritized. But no update so far. So the NBA has a process for players who deal with health situations that could be life-threatening, like, blood clot obviously could be. So they have a fitness-to-play panel, and what that is the NBA appoints a physician, the National Basketball Players Association appoints a physician, and then, the two sides nominate a third physician, and, they essentially go through everything and then just make a determination on if a player is healthy enough to play. So, there's no timeline as far as how that process is going to play out. I know it's, fans are really curious about that. And, yeah, I mean, I wish I had an update, but the Pistons themselves don't even know exactly when this is going to resolve and how. So, in the meantime, Asar can do non-contact stuff. He's been around the team, but, I think everybody's kind of waiting with bated breath, seeing just what this process looks like over the next few weeks and when they could get him back.
For sure, and, we all hope Asar can get well soon so he can get back on the court, because him in this lineup with his defense and hopefully Fred Vincent's tutelage with his jumper, that would be pretty good. Well, Omari, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. We know preseason and training camp, everything's hectic right now, so we really appreciate you coming on the show, talking some hoops with us, and joining us today.
No, absolutely, and I appreciate you guys for having me.
Of course. Hey, take it easy, man, all right?
Yeah, have a good one.
You too. Gentlemen, Omari, what a guy. What a guy.
What
Omari.
A guy. That was awesome.
Answered every question thoroughly and
good.
Gave great responses about updates about the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Omari. That was great.
Indeed. And I've known Omari for a couple years now. I worked with the Free Press for a little bit, have some stuff out with them. And, just getting to know him over the last couple years, he's become a good friend of mine, close with the team as well. And, him being able to join the show means a lot to me personally. So, again, Omari, when you're watching this back, thank you very much for joining us. Hey, right after this break, we're going to talk some Tigers. We're going to talk some pigskin. We got Week 5 and Week 6 since we couldn't be with you guys on Monday. You're watching Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk. We'll be right back after this.
Sports cards, signed jerseys, signed helmets, and more. Miller's Sports Cards and Collectibles is your one-stop shop for all things the hobby. Make sure to check them out down Mission Street in Mount Pleasant, right past Meyer. Miller's Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk. Join Michael Rosenkranz,
Sports take precedence over academics.
I agree, but
Ryan Donnelly,
Corbin Burns, who is their big ticket J13 item. Scooble is with us. Scooble's our big ticket.
Did
J1.
you just call Tarek Scooble James?
and Anthony Schulte.
I have an issue.
You have.
There is no break. It's a constant grind. It's an unbreakable cycle.
Yeah, it's.
As they navigate through the Detroit sports landscape. Live Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 a.m. on 101.1 The Beat in Mount Pleasant and at 11 a.m. on YouTube. Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk. Welcome back, Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk. Ryan Donnelly, Michael Rosenkranz, Anthony Schulte here with you guys this hump day morning, Wednesday, the 9th of October. So we've been gone for a little bit, as everybody knows. Last show was a week ago, wellness break. Didn't have a show on Monday, so we have a lot to get to. Gentlemen, let's start with the Detroit Tigers here. Since we were last with you, we were in the wild card. Now we're in the ALDS. Ladies and gentlemen, the Detroit Tigers are in the ALDS. Come on.
Let's go! How? I don't know.
Them gritty Tigers, as they say. Don't let the Tigers get hot, and they let the Tigers get hot. It looked a little bleak through 7 innings, game 2. Tarek Scooble, 7 shutty. Some expletives as he walked off the field towards the Cleveland faithful. However, when Kerry Carpenter comes up to the plate against the Cy Young candidate, Emmanuel Clase, and in a battle of the Cy Young candidates, Kerry Carpenter completely obliterated a baseball into the seats. 3-run dinger derby, gone forever. Aaron Hernandez. Shout out to that one video. Who was that? Who was that by again?
I don't know.
Oh boy, how did I forget who that was by?
Let me take a look.
Dinger derby. Anyways, I'm really mad at myself that I forgot who that was by. But Tigers.
M-Dog,
sure. Tigers are rolling here through the playoffs, making a magical run, and today they're back in Detroit. First playoff game in the D at Comerica in a decade. And apparently it's an orange out tonight, or this afternoon. So, big game, ALDS, incredible run.
Thank goodness my exam's online today. So I could watch this game and I could stress out another 9 innings. But I'm impressed, to say the least. Emmanuel Clase's ERA before Wednesday was .67. That's nuts. Now, we ran up his ERA.
Mm-hmm. It's like
Boys,
13 now or something.
It's like he went from a sub-1 ERA to like an almost sub-3.
Well, that's also in the playoffs, too.
That's true.
It's his playoff ERA, so his actual ERA didn't get, affected.
His regular season ERA was .67, which that,
incredible.
For a closer, insane. Nuts.
And that for anybody is incredible in baseball.
I mean,
with as many appearances as he's had.
The fact that, let me say this, I'm just going to be straight up. This is the MLB fan in me. I think Cleveland has the best bullpen, and I think Cleveland has the best defense. Stephen Kwan.
What a grab in the outfield.
Stephen Kwan, Gold Glove winner.
That dude is
deserves
special.
It. Jose Ramirez, Gold Glove winner. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Naylor, great catcher. Like
Josh Naylor, incredible at the plate.
Right. And you have the best bullpen. That Cleveland bullpen, no one has an ERA under 3.5. Mm-hmm. And everyone throws 100 mile an hour. It's insane. Even without Shane Bieber, this Guardians bullpen, nuts. And the fact that we hung 3 on them in Cleveland, crazy. And especially Kerry Carpenter's home run, 424 feet.
111 off the bat. And missile.
Emmanuel, man. the gritty Tigers. That ninth inning was literally the definition of the gritty Tigers. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say it, best one of all year, 100%. This series is anyone's series, but I feel like the Tigers won Game 2. Games 3 and 4 are at Copa. I feel like this is the Tigers series to win.
Copa,
Comerica Park.
Nobody's ever called it Copa.
I call it the Copa.
I've never heard that.
Why have I never heard of that?
You've never heard it?
Never heard that from
Copa.
anybody.
No.
Never heard it.
Shout out friend of the show, my father. He wanted to be called friend of the show, so there you go. He calls it the Copa, so it kind of rubbed off on me.
He kind of ruined that.
Copa at the Comerica's Park.
We
have
yes.
Game 3 to 4, Comerica's Park. I think the momentum is swinging in our favor. Obviously, we have 2 bullpen days. We don't know who we're going to. The starting pitcher has not been confirmed. I haven't seen any report of our starting pitcher yet.
Probably Hannafy.
I think it'll be Brennan Hannafy. But man, I next show on Monday we could be in the ALCS.
That's true.
Possibly.
Very true.
And I would not be
Strong,
surprised if we do. Monday we could have a CS celebration, or we could have
a Tigers recap.
A Tigers off-season checklist and recap. But man, no matter what the outcome is, I'm proud of this. I'm very proud of this team, man. Like I said, all 4 Detroit sports teams, even the Pistons, look very good.
Yes. The Pistons.
Even
look
the Pistons
good.
look pretty good. So
Yes, they do.
I'm very proud of the Tigers. I'm very proud of the way that they've played. I'm proud that they're bringing back a winning culture to this, and now we got to build on this. We have one of the best farm systems in baseball. We have a great general manager. We have a great president of baseball operations. Go out, get vets for this team. This team's too young. I think we need a vet, and we need to, excel on this. Our goal is ALCS, World Series. Next year's goal should be World Series. Let's get things
bold
done.
Prediction.
It's an interesting prediction at that, and I mean, you have a very young team, but all these young guys want to do is win, and you're seeing that continuously with this team. And I was out at Miyako with my brothers, shout out Jason and Eric. The post on Barstool, where were you when Kerry Carpenter hit that 3-run home run? I was out at Miyako having hibachi for the first time in a
I love the botch.
time.
I'm sorry. I love the botch. The botch. I love the botch. I need to go back to the botch. I love it.
for
There's a joint.
I'm so
There's a
hungry.
hibachi joint in Mount Pleasant, I think.
Really?
We're going.
What's it called?
I'm trying to remember what it's called, but I
we were
wanted
in
to
there
go
like
there
swimwear.
for the longest time. So we gotta go.
We
That
are
could
in
be-
there like swimwear.
That could be.
I'm telling you.
That could be a good ALCS celebration. Should we
Oh,
make
yeah.
it there?
Card
Oh, yeah.
Guys live at the botch.
Live at the
Hey,
botch.
there's a
Book it.
show idea.
There it is.
I have been craving some Chinese food, like on the real note.
It's not Chinese, bro.
I thought it was.
It's Japanese.
Japanese. Hibachi's Japanese. Oh no!
Oh, he's canceled.
Uh-oh.
He's canceled.
Oops.
Whoops.
I didn't know that.
That's a whoopsie.
Oopsies.
I've been craving some Chinese. Let's go to the botch.
I've been craving.
Some Chinese.
I don't know the
Funny
difference,
stuff.
folks. I
Oh, boy.
apologize.
All
but-
right, let's move on before we get canceled. This show gets taken. This show stinks.
The
Go
show
ahead.
stinks. Nandayo, Ryan. Nandayo.
From our last
That's
episode,
Japanese.
I'm Ryan Donnelly saying goodbye.
That's Japanese for what the heck.
Oh boy.
But you know what this game showed me yesterday? This game showed me, rather, on Monday. It really just showed me that it's, when you get Tarek Skubal on the mound, it's basically him pinning him up against the entire MLB right now. Mm-hmm. And October Skubal is here. We know what Skubal did in the regular season, and even after winning his Triple Crown and he was interviewed, he's just like, ask me after the season, because I'm focused on the postseason right now. That is how locked in he is, and that's how bad he wants it. I've never seen him shout expletives at the Cleveland crowd after going 7 shutout innings.
His mom said on Instagram or Twitter when Pitching Ninja tweeted out that he said, quote, STFU. Put that together if you want. But she replied with, Tarek Daniel. His mom in Pitching Ninja had to write an apology and say, please don't ground him until after the postseason, please.
Seriously.
Let him get through the postseason before you lay down any punishment. But
that's pretty funny. It'll be interesting to see who the Tigers go with later today, but you got Alex Cobb. Alex Cobb has been great.
Just coming back from injury, right?
Just coming back from injury. He's been great. It'll be interesting to see if the Tigers go with a bullpen day, assuming they will be. They have probably Hannafy, or I was thinking even Tyler Holton today.
Could be Holton, but he did the last start. So
that's true. You could either see Hannafy. Mm. It will probably be Hannafy. Yeah. Maybe Holton goes game 4 and then Skubal
I could see that.
And then Skubal game 5.
Or even Montero. I mean,
maybe
he's on the roster, so.
True, you could possibly see Montero, but keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. Don't look back. Winning. You have Detroit on your feet for you guys the next 2 games. This is your chance to win the series. Go do it.
Exactly. So Tigers 3:08 first pitch, TBS. The great Brian Anderson will be on the call. He's been phenomenal this entire series. So
great.
Tigers and Cleveland, 3:08. Make sure you're watching, or at least paying attention on your phone to see what happens. Anyways, afternoon games are the worst. Move on to some pigskin, some football. We're going to quickly go through our picks from last week, and then we're going to make our picks for next week, this coming week of NFL football. So first, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. How about them, Dirty Birds? I'm going to count this as a partial upset of the week because it was still an upset. It wasn't my upset of the week, but I was very high on this team. The Jets disappointed me. Falcons, they won. 30% of the people agreed with me, and Falcons are winning the South. Calling it. Oops, called it.
I could see that. I picked the Bucks. They proved me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Baker. I hate Baker Mayfield.
I picked the Falcons with you, Anthony. I was hopping on the bandwagon, and that was one of the games where, who do I pick up in fantasy this week? It's just like, I don't know about Kirk Cousins. The dude gets like 35 points or something. I'm just like,
I started him over Mahomes. He was like, what do I do? I'm like, hey, start Kirk. You started Kirk. Look what happens. Falcons are impressive. Looking good.
They really
Pitts
are.
was on my bench. Anyways, let's move on to another fantasy disappointment.
Darnell Mooney was on my bench.
Mike Williams. Hi, buddy. No, that's not your fault that you didn't catch that in the end zone. That's Aaron Rodgers' fault for underthrowing that ball. But the Jets almost come back. Vikings, their Cinderella run is almost over. It's slowly crumbling. We can tell. That defeated Jets team in London almost beat them, came back to beat them. The Vikings, their next game's against Detroit after a bye week. They're going to be caught off guard. Detroit's going to take them down. But the Vikings beat the Jets 23-17. I picked the Jets. You two picked the Vikings, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I did pick the Vikings, and Robert Saleh, unfortunately,
got fired.
Got
fired by Aaron Rodgers.
Got the boot from Aaron Rodgers himself. So Jets are kind of in dire straits right now.
Yeah, they need to go after Devontae Adams. They have nothing to lose. So
there you go.
All they want is a second round pick and some more assets. Anyways, the Bears absolutely pummeled the Panthers. Yep. That was expected. Mm-hmm. Caleb Williams looked good, but it's against the Panthers, so you can't really give it much leverage because it's against the Panthers. Ravens in a thriller. You want to hear a funny story, folks? Ravens-Bengals. I was looking at my fantasy lineup before this contest, and I was like, all right, Brock Purdy against the Cardinals or Joe Burrow against the Ravens. And I was like, you know what? Brock Purdy's got a better matchup. The Ravens' defense is pretty stout. They shut down Josh Allen. And I was like, you know what? Brock Purdy against Arizona? Give me the Purds. Give me Brock Purdy, right? I did go to switch that at 103. It's a little too late. But Joe Burrow had a career day on my bench. So you're welcome, Joe Burrow, because I benched you. You had a good game. And now that I'm starting him this week, he's going to have an absolute stinker. Ha, 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 ha. Ravens won. Bengals collapsed. An incredible game. That's probably game of the year, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and because Anthony Schulte started Joe Burrow in fantasy, Joe Burrow was purposely going to do bad. That's how fantasy works.
That is how fantasy
in our minds.
Because I was going to switch in Kyle Pitts, too. for Dalton Kincaid, but my father and my brother, shout out you two, said not to, so I didn't. And Kyle Pitts got 16 points on my bench.
Man.
But even, you want to know what's funny? So I have Saquon Barkley, Jamison Williams. They were both on bye. I have Joe Mixon. He's got a little ankle boo-boo, right? So no running backs and only 2 wide receivers. Even if I would have started 35 points in Joe Burrow and 16 points in Kyle Pitts, I still would have lost by 10. I'm having so much fun. Anyways.
I benched Darnell Mooney and Isaiah Likely. Darnell Mooney had 31 points. And Isaiah Likely, the 1 week the Ravens found out that they had the guy, put up 16 on my bench.
I had Likely. I did not have Mooney, and I was very upset. Exactly, Ryan. I was looking like you are right now.
All right, this matchup is just killing our fantasy team. So let's move on from this matchup.
No doubt.
The Dolphins beat the Patriots. My pick, boom, correct. Another upset picked correctly, huh?
I picked the Patriots. It's such a low-scoring game.
I didn't know why you would pick the Patriots.
I honestly don't know why either, because I can't trust TB12. No, not Tom Brady. Tim Boyle.
Was Boyle in that game? Or is it still Snoop Huntley, Pro Bowl quarterback?
It might have been Huntley, actually.
Snoop, Pro Bowl.
Yeah, it might have been Huntley.
Pro Bowl quarterback. They got a Pro Bowler under center.
I picked the Pats. Yeah. Drake May starting, which is going to be cool, but against the Texans this week. But
and the crowd goes mild.
I like Drake May at UNC.
Well, you guys want to see another disappointment? How about the Colts? You lost to the Jaguars and let them score 37.
We bleed blue.
What are you doing?
This is our Colts, whether win or lose.
We move on from them.
I picked the Jags. Doug Peterson, your job was saved by 3 points. Duval. I brought my Blake Bortles jersey back up from home.
You were one of the only people that still own a Blake
Bortles.
And I will wear goaltender on a Blake Bortles jersey.
Mark my words. I will wear my Blake Bortles jersey on Monday.
Oh, jeez. Oh, good God. Anyways, all right. Bills and Texans. I picked the Bills. Don't know why I went against the Texans. I love the Texans, but Bills are struggling as of late. A little 2-game skid.
Mm-hmm.
Starting 3-0.
I went the Bills too. Very close game, low-scoring game against the Texans, but the Texans pulled it out. They're starting off how sort of we all predicted them to start out.
Right.
Starting off 4-1. I mean, I would definitely think they're going to make another run in the postseason.
Yeah.
I also picked the Bills. Come on, Josh. 2-week skid. Not looking too great.
All right, we got a lot of games to get to here. The Commanders and Browns. Pick the Commanders. My Commanders are rolling. Go Jaden Daniels. The Raiders. Oh, that hurt. And the Broncos. The Broncos absolutely wiped the floor with them.
I picked the Broncos. I was going to say the
Broncos.
Raiders, but my throat also hurts, so I can't really.
Classic college fall weather, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got 49ers and Cardinals.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Ryan Donnelly upset of the week. My throat hurts. Somehow, I picked this upset out of random and it hit. I don't know how.
What is this guy?
The NFL is so weird.
And the 49ers were winning for like a majority of the game.
The real dirty birds, the Arizona Cardinals,
All
without
right,
Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Caw-caw!
I know. Another clip. You got to stop making animal noises, man.
Sorry.
All right, Packers and Rams. Packers won.
Yeah.
These division wins are not helping the Lions.
Nope.
At all.
Division.
The whole NFC North won while the Lions were on bye. Let's put that into perspective.
Right.
The whole NFC North won their games while the Lions were on bye.
Right. And then we have another disappointment: the Seattle Seahawks losing by 2 possessions to the New York Giants.
Thank you, Daniel Jones, for doing pretty good for me in fantasy this week.
Wow, I really sucked this last 3 games. And we got the Pittsburgh Fighting Isaacs against the Dallas Fighting Ryans, and Ryan won the Card Guys Bowl.
I am so excited.
I picked the Steelers. Never again.
I also picked the Steelers.
And then we have Saints and Chiefs. I picked the Saints. Hey, did you guys hear Taylor Swift's backup dancer's brother got a pick?
Whoa!
Wow, that was made apparent.
What a coincidence!
Who cares? Oh, my goodness. Wow. I liked when Bill Belichick was on the Manning cast, and they put up Taylor Swift. He was like, ugh. I think all of America related with
Bill
right
Belichick
there.
is speaking for all of America right now when he just groaned at the sight of Taylor Swift. Right. I'm sorry. Y'all can call us radical for hating on Taylor Swift, but there comes a time and a place where you don't need to show her every play. And my dad was asking me, she doesn't go to the home games, does she? I said, oh, yeah,
That's
she
the only
does.
game she goes to.
She does.
Anyways, all right, we got week 6 coming up now. Wow, we're really
goodness gracious.
We're really struggling to end this show. Oh my goodness. It's like we started off, and then all of a sudden after the break,
yeah. We got it. Let's push through.
All right, let's finish this thing off here. 49ers and Seahawks on a jam-packed night of football. This could go either way.
It really could.
I think the 49ers are going to bounce back. That Seattle defense has really been struggling as of late. Started off good.
What are you looking at?
No, I was trying. You know the song.
Start from the bottom.
No, the song "Forever" started off local, but thanks to all the haters. You know that?
Yeah.
I said start off.
Let's push through, guys.
I'm sorry. Picking
what a
the
rough
49ers.
show outside of Omari.
Picking the 49ers here.
I'm also going to pick the 49ers.
49ers. Seahawks defense is battered up.
All right, Jags and Bears. Another one where it's tough. The Jags seem to be getting it right here, but
I have my upset in mind.
Ladies and gentlemen,
there you go.
The Anthony Schulte upset of the week. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. Duval.
Clip it.
Go Jaguars.
This early of an upset?
Actually, the Jaguars are a cat. Meow.
Why'd you...
the pause.
This show stinks. Give me the Bears.
Meow. The slight pause. I'm taking the Bears.
All right, we got Cardinals and Pack. Give me the Packers.
Give me the Pack, man.
I hate doing
I
that.
don't like doing this. Give me the Packers.
All right, Colts, Titans, Colts.
This is Colts.
That's a good one right there. Texans, Patriots.
Texans. Whoop them.
All right, Buccaneers and Saints. I'm going Buccaneers. The Saints have been kind of struggling as of late. They're not going to have Derek Carr. Give me the Buccaneers. Nice little bounce back game for them.
Agreed. Give me the Bucks.
I will also take the Bucks.
All right, Browns and Eagles. The Browns are playing up to their namesake, a brown stain. That's how they're playing right now. Give me the Eagles. Their offense, the Browns' offense can't get it together. Eagles are coming off a bye. Saquon Barkley's going to eat. Give me the Eagles.
Eagles.
This is Eagles for me. Browns don't stand a chance.
Ryan, take it away. We apologize, headphone users. We didn't mean for that.
The Ryan Donnelly upset of the week. My apologies for my behavior all episode. Give me the Washington Commanders.
I'm also going with the Commanders.
Oh.
Haha. You can't stop me. This was going to be my upset of the week until I saw him eyeballing this game like it was a fresh lollipop. I'm going with the Commanders.
Jaden Daniels MVP season incoming. He could be the first ever player in NFL history to win Offensive Rookie of the Year and MVP.
I think this is really all going to be about, one, can the Commanders stop Derrick Henry? And two, can the Ravens stop the stout offense led by Jaden Daniels? Let's go for 3 for 3. Give me the Commanders.
Wow.
Chargers, Broncos. I'm going Chargers. The Fighting Jim Harbaughs.
Let's go Chargers here.
This is tough, man. I don't know why. This is the battle of mid right here.
Yeah, this is
It's Bo Nix versus Jim Harbaugh.
There's our Frank moment, folks.
Harbaugh and the Chargers.
If you're watching from Pistons Twitter, welcome to the program. If they're still here after Omari.
I'm going to go Broncos.
All right, there you go. We got Steelers and Raiders. I'm going with the Steelers. Raiders
This is
got some turmoil
Steelers for
right
me.
now.
I'm concerned about your throat and how it's getting torn up with each time
yesterday
you say the
I was
Raiders.
yelling from the 200 level profusely. So
That is
Fair enough.
That is
and
true.
Your voice is still intact, I see.
I guess so. I'm pushing through.
Absolutely.
I'm going Steelers to beat the Raiders.
And then we got the Ryan Donnelly Bowl here, the Lions and Cowboys in Jerry's World. on Fox, 425, probably America's Game of the Week.
It is most likely going to be.
Give me the
America's
Lions,
Game.
obviously.
Lions.
This is going to be Lions.
This is their Lions are having a revenge tour right now. We beat the Seahawks and Cowboys. Shout out Brad Allen. Lions are going to get on their get back. So I'm going to say Lions upset at Jerry World.
We aren't doing a Lions preview this week just due to time constraints. However, we will have a Lions recap on Monday, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all going Lions here.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm assuming we're all going Falcons against the Panthers.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
All right, we got Bengals-Giants. I'm going to go with the Bengals here. Sunday's Night Football.
I'm going with the Bengals, and if the Giants win, I'm just done. I have no faith in the Bengals anymore.
Can I switch my upset?
I mean, yeah.
I know we all picked the Commanders, but I'm not gonna scream in your face again. Give me the Giants as my upset of the week.
You know what? Then I'm switching my upset of the week to the Washington Commanders.
There you go. I mean, we all picked.
I wasn't really confident.
In my eyes, an upset of the week for me is I pick it. No one else does.
Okay.
And the Commanders, we all picked the Commanders.
Commanders is my, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Schulte upset of the week is going to be the Washington Commanders. Had to do it the right way. We're picking a lot of road teams this week, I'm seeing. Anyways, Buffalo Bills, New York Jets. We got Monday Night Football. Give me the Bills. And I'm going to say there's going to be a total of 37 points scored.
I'm going to say total of 40.
All right, my picks are locked.
Let's go Bills. I'm going to say 42 points.
Picks are locked and
loaded.
Picks are locked.
All right, well, that's all we have for today's show. A fun one. Thank you again, Omari, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us through that, after that break. Thank you for sticking with us through that. And thank you for tuning in. Card Guys, Season 3, Episode 9 on 91.5 The Mountain today and YouTube. Stay tuned for Monday's program. Back over in the 101.1 studios. We're going to preview the Lions. We're going to visit the Wings after their first weekend of action. See how the Tigers did during the rest of the ALDS. For my good buddies Ryan Donnelly, Michael Rosenkranz, and our special guest Omari Sankofa II, I'm Anthony Schulte saying, so long, everybody.
Love you, Mom and Dad. Get yourself a copy of The Franchise, written by Craig Custance.
Do it.
Book comes out October 15th.